You can go and yell all you want, but I can't understand 10 people, let alone 100 people at once.
Do your job, they're shouting at the end there. Do your job. Republican Congressman Rich McCormick hosted a town hall tonight in Georgia. People lined up tonight outside Roswell City Hall in Georgia for a chance to ask this congressman about the federal spending cuts and the mass firings of federal employees and other things the Trump administration's doing. In another clip that was posted by Greg Bluestein at the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, you can hear one woman reminding Congressman McCormick that it is Congress that is supposed to control the budget.
Not the president. And you are doing us a disservice to set that down and not stand up for us. And
You don't think I'm going to stand up for you. You need to stand up. And you hear the woman at the end going, don't bend over. Again, that was Roswell, Georgia tonight. Congressman Rich McCormick, a Republican of Georgia, getting a very hard time from his constituents. So one of the latest scenes of questions and pushback on what Trump's been doing his first month in office. Earlier today in Oregon, people packed a room in the Pendleton, Oregon Convention Center for a town hall with Oregon Republican Congressman Cliff Bentz. Congressman Bentz tried to defend Trump's cuts.
So the potential federal budget reduction impact on Oregon CD2, these are the kind of things that will be impacted: USDA, Medicaid, Forest Service, Bureau of Reclamation, college and university federal grants, Veteran Administration, and other federal agencies. Now when I say affected, it may be for the best. As hard as it might be, as hard as it might be.
It may be for the best. Rain of booze. Nobody in that room thinks it's going to be for the best, Congressman Cliff Bentz of Oregon. That was today in Oregon. Last night in Alaska, this is interesting. Republican Senator Lisa Murkowski faced questions from her constituents in a big teletown hall. And Senator Murkowski, in that teletown hall, according to accounts of how that went, really appeared to take her constituents' side as they expressed their grave opposition to what Trump is doing. She reportedly told her constituents on this town hall that Trump's efforts to hold back funding that's already been appropriated by Congress, quote, cannot be allowed to stand. She said, quote, if we in Congress allow that, we effectively cede some of our authority. She said, quote, we have to stand up. The we has to be more than just me, and this is where it becomes more of a challenge. We have to stand up. Today, in the United States Senate, after that call with her constituents last night, Lisa Murkowski was, in fact, part of a very small we. She was one of two Republicans, along with Susan Collins, who joined every Democrat in voting against Kash Patel to be director of the FBI. Now, bottom line, they needed 4 Republican no's to stop him. They got 2. 2 is not none. Joining us now is Senator Cory Booker, Democrat of New Jersey, who's at the Senate tonight as a vote-a-rama is underway on a budget bill. Senator Booker, it's really nice of you to step out to talk to us tonight. Thanks for being here.
It's so great to be with you, Rachel. Thank you.
First of all, can you tell us what's going on in the Senate right now and what you see as potential outcomes, both of tonight's kinetic activity, but also ultimately this bill?
It is essential that we use every procedural lever we have. The Republicans in the Senate are trying to put forth their budget bill to extend the Trump tax cuts and, frankly, extend trillions of dollars of tax cuts for the wealthiest Americans and corporations. And so one of the procedural tools we have is that we can bring up unlimited amounts of amendments. So we're going to be here until tomorrow morning, really pulling an all-nighter and into the morning to push forward amendments that are just common sense, that the majority of not just Democrats agree with us, but independents and Republicans. We're going to put things forward about housing, about health care, about no tax cuts for billionaires. We're we're going to be putting a lot of things forward that just make them squirm and have to show us who they are. We've already seen something that usually doesn't happen in these, which is at least one Republican, Susan Collins, breaking to say this is such an abjectly obvious thing that we should do that I'm going to stand with the Democrats on this. So tonight is a night for us to expose what this is really about. This is Doge, Elon Musk, and Donald Trump trying to cut money away from vital services for our healthcare, for our veterans, for our 9/11 responders, for others. Whether it's our national parks or other things you've shown, this is them trying to cut those things so that they could feed tax cuts to the wealthiest in our nation who do not need our help, and the wealthiest corporations who have been making record profits in the last years.
Senator, I feel like one of the things that has started to happen in the last few days is that this White House and the president's top campaign donor, who has a large role in the government now, they seem to keep grabbing hold of a series of third rails. So Elon Musk is talking about Social Security as a scam, and it is full of, hundreds of millions of dollars of waste, and it's a program that essentially needs to be destroyed because it's so corrupt. The president endorsed the House Republicans' plan that has huge cuts to Medicaid, which tens of millions of Americans depend on for their health care. Today, the White House said that President Trump is open to, yes, taking a whack at Medicare, cutting Medicare. We just had reporting tonight from the Washington Post. And this is a different order of magnitude, but they're talking about dissolving the leadership of the Postal Service and the absorbing the Postal Service into the administration somehow, meaning getting rid of the post office. All of these things, for different reasons, are third rails in American politics because they're foundational to what Americans get from our government. What do you make of their willingness to grab so many things that have felled lesser politicians than these guys?
Well, for me, it is them finally saying or showing what they're all about. Donald Trump repeated over and over again, I'm not going to touch Medicaid, I'm not going to touch Medicare, I'm not going to touch Social Security, but now he is endorsing the legislation that will do just that. They are running to try to do everything they can to distract with misinformation and lies. And we've seen Elon Musk put up data after data after data that is just completely wrong, misleading, or frankly, just misinformation about the cuts that they're making. The truth of the matter is, in a little over a month, they've cut some of the most precious things that Americans know and value, from our air safety to our protection from global infectious diseases. They're cutting the most valuable staffs that even have letters going out from Republicans, not public, saying, do not do this, this is wrong. And so we are now at this, I think, a turning point in America where more Americans are beginning to see what this is really about. We saw it in his first time in office, where the first thing out of the blocks, he tried to take away our health care. He tried to take away valued things like, hey, if I have a pre-existing conditions, insurance companies can't stop me from getting health care. And here he is again, doing what made him wildly unpopular, doing what made him one of the most unpopular presidents of the modern era, why he lost the 2020 election. And now we see him doing just the same thing again. This is a massive grift and grab of the resources of Americans in order to go to special deals, benefits, and wealth creation for people like the very conflicted Elon Musk. This is the president, before he even got in office, is publishing new meme coins so he can make millions and millions, tens of millions of dollars of grift. And so I just find this a moment of truth where we as Americans have to begin to tell folks who are not listening, who don't understand what's happening before it's too late, before they get a massive budget bill passed. Because their margins are so thin, especially in the House, we have the power. We stopped him when he tried to take away health care. We have to stop them on this bill because even though they don't want it necessarily, even though they have authoritarian tendencies, the reality is we are still a democracy. And in a democracy, the power of the people is greater than the people in power. If we use our power, and the most common way people surrender their power is not realizing they have it in the first place. Folks need to now, right now, use their voice to condemn what is going on.
New Jersey Senator Cory Booker tonight, hard at work and will be there overnight, in his words, making the Republicans squirm. as they fight over this budget bill. Sir, thanks for stepping out for a moment to talk with us. Good luck tonight. Thank you.
Appreciate you. Thank you so much.
All right, more news ahead tonight. Stay with us.